On a winter night like this, with the air around Yprektepe sitting at about -3 degrees Celsius under a clear sky and only a light breeze, the village feels very much like the quiet, highland corner of Turkey that it is. Crisp, still, and a bit timeless. Yprektepe is a small Kurdish village in the Purvari district of Siirt province, with a population of only around 750 people. Life here revolves around the classic mountain economy, small-scale agriculture, livestock, and seasonal work, shaped by the steep terrain of southeastern Anatolia. Purvari as a whole is known for its rugged mountains and scattered villages rather than big industry or tourism. Culturally, you're in Kurdish heartland. The village's Kurdish name is Emirates, and everyday life is full of Kurdish language, music, and family-centered customs. Weddings, for example, can still be multi-day affairs with line dances and drums that you hear echoing across the valley. The climate is continental and mountainous, cold, often snowy winters like the one we're flying past now, and warm, dry summers. That contrast shapes everything from the building styles, solid, practical houses meant to withstand snow, to the rhythm of the agricultural year. Purvari district is relatively remote, so you don't come here for big landmarks, you come for landscape and isolation. The surrounding mountains and valleys offer the sort of raw scenery hikers and photographers love, with winding roads, terraced fields, and seasonal streams. From here, broader Siirt province opens up with its older towns, traditional markets, and historic mosques a few hours' drive away. One charming detail. In many villages in this region, children still grow up playing improvised outdoor games in the lanes and fields, stones, sticks, and a lot of imagination instead of screens, something visitors often find quietly nostalgic. On a winter night like this, with the air at freezing point and a low ceiling of overcast cloud, Yonkali is exactly the kind of village where you imagine smoke curling from chimneys and everyone gathered around a stove after a long day in the mountains. Yonkali is a small Kurdish village in the central district of Hakkari, in Turkey's far southeast, pressed into some of the most rugged terrain in the country. Life here is shaped by altitude and isolation, steep valleys, long winters, and short, bright summers. Most families rely on livestock and small-scale farming, following patterns that haven't changed much in generations. The name, Yonkali, means clovered, and in summer the high pastures around Hikari really do turn a surprising green, drawing herders and their flocks up to the Yalas, the seasonal mountain pastures. That old semi-nomadic rhythm is still part of local identity, even if many people now spend the whole year in the village. Culturally, Yonkali is Kurdish, with everyday life conducted in Kurdish alongside Turkish. Food is hearty and practical. Flatbreads baked on a sack griddle, lentil and bulgur dishes, and simple vegetable stews, often eaten seated on floor cushions with the whole family. Tea is the social fuel. There is always time for a glass. The wider Hikari region is known for dramatic peaks like the Silo and Sat ranges, glaciers, and deep valleys that attract a small but growing trickle of trekkers and mountaineers in summer. From Yonkali, the nearest big city feels more like a large town, but it's the gateway to these mountains and to a three-border world where Turkey, Iran, and Iraq press close together. One charming local detail: village evenings often turn into impromptu gatherings on doorsteps, with kids playing in the lane and older residents trading stories in the cold air until the mountains fade into the dark. Looks like we're passing through one of those nameless stretches, but that just means it's a great moment for Jolly Sr. to share some wisdom. Take it away, Dad.
I'm on it, son. Hello, name's Jolly Sr. Happy to be here with you. You know, every great journey has a moment like this, a stretch, where nothing seems to demand attention, yet everything is quietly working behind the scenes. It reminds me of one of history's most incredible voyages, when Ferdinand Magellan's fleet unknowingly sailed through what would later be named the Strait of Magellan. At the time, they didn't know for sure if they were on the right course. They moved forward, surrounded by open space, no landmarks in sight, just trusting the journey. And then, without fanfare, they realized they had unknowingly discovered one of the most important navigational routes in history. That quiet, unremarkable stretch wasn't just another part of the trip. It was the connection that made the journey possible. Kind of funny, isn't it? The parts of travel we don't think much about often turn out to be the most essential. So while this place may not have a name on hand, it's doing exactly what it's meant to do, keeping you moving just as countless travelers have experienced before. All right, I've done my bit. Time to hand things back to Junior for the next update.
Thank you, Dad. With light rain pattering outside at 8 degrees Celsius tonight. Perfect for a cozy fireside tale. Picturesque gliding near Shiklawa in Iraq's Erbil Governorate, where Razga sits as a quiet, abandoned spot amid the district's lush hills. Shiklawa itself, just 50 kilometers northeast of Erbil, is a historic hill station at the base of Safin Mountain, famed for its waterfalls, thick greenery, and temperate climate that draws visitors escaping summer heat. This town of about 25,000 has long been a tapestry of coexistence. Kurdish Muslims, Chaldean Christians speaking Syriac and Kurdish, and once a Jewish community, all sharing everyday friendships despite upheavals. At its heart is the cave shrine of Rabban Boya, a 4th century site where women touch a sloping stone outside, hoping for fertility, a custom binding faiths for centuries. Nearby, the monastery of Rabban Bia buzzes with ancient Christian lore, its poets and scribes leaving echoes from Ottoman days when Shiklawa became a sub-district. Wander to Dwin Castle, 40 minutes northwest. Ottoman ruins crowning a hill with panoramic views, an abandoned village below, and a cemetery across the way, eerie yet stunning. Locals savor sour prune jam, tart and piti, sold in markets. Though Daesh shrank the Christian population to around 200, revival stirs, honoring Shiklawa as a center for many faiths. A short hike to a mountain mazar rewards with sweeping vistas toward Iran, short but soul-stirring. Weather shifts to broken clouds soon, cooling to 5 degrees by morning. Bundle up if you detour there. On a night like this around Khoisanjak, cool air at about 10 degrees Celsius with a light rain softening the hills, the town feels very much like the classic mountain gateway of Kurdistan. Quiet on the surface, but full of stories. Kambar is a small community within the wider Khoi Sanjak area, a town tucked between the Bawaji and Haybat Sultan Mountains in southeastern Erbil Governorate. Khoi's name itself comes from Turkish roots meaning village of the flag, tied to an old tale of an Ottoman prince planting his banner here after quelling a rebellion and turning a seasonal bazaar into a garrison town. That military outpost slowly became a busy trading hub where farmers from surrounding villages like Kambar brought their goods. Life here still leans on agriculture and livestock, shaped by the semi-mountainous terrain: wheat, barley, flocks of sheep and goats, and orchards that green up beautifully in spring. The town has grown into a district center with roads connecting toward Erbil and the oil town of Taktok, so people in Kambar live between rural rhythms and regional traffic. Food reflects that countryside character: hearty rice and bulgur dishes, skewered grilled vegetables, leaf-wrapped dolma, dairy from local flocks, and flatbreads baked in simple tandoor ovens. In cooler months like now, families lean into rich stews and endless hot tea. Khoya has a layered cultural mix. In the past, it hosted a notable Jewish community speaking a distinctive Neo-Aramaic dialect, alongside Christians and Muslims sharing the same compact streets and bazaars. One of the town's cherished landmarks is the Chaldean Catholic Church of Mar Yusuf, dating to the early 1920s, with its modest but elegant stone architecture. For a traveler staying in Erbil, Khoya and its satellite villages make a rewarding side trip: mountain views, village hospitality, and a quieter window into everyday Kurdish life that the big citadel city only hints at. Look out the window. Somewhere down there near the eastern edge of Kirkuk Governorate lies Sayamansir in Dachuk district, a quiet Turkmen majority spot with deep roots in Iraq's layered past. Dachuk itself, the district hub, traces back to Neo-Assyrian times as a provincial center called Dikukina, and in 1883, Ottoman governor Midhat Pasha threw up that sturdy stone bridge still standing today, easing trade routes south through the rugged terrain. These days, it's agricultural heartland. Think fertile fields feeding Kirkuk's oil boom economy, though land spats between Turkmen, Kurds, and lingering Arab influences from Saddam's era keep things tense. Poverty hovered around 7% a decade ago, but locals push for harmony amid the disputes. Weather's classic semi-arid, scorching summers topping 110 degrees Fahrenheit, mild winters dipping to freezing with rare snow, and spring blooms turning the plains green. Surprising bit. Back in 1906, the whole town was just 1,000 souls, mostly Turkmen, swelling to over 14,000 by the late 40s with Kurdish influx. Nearby, Kirkuk's ancient citadel looms 20 miles west, layered from Assyrian Arafat days, while oil fields whisper of Baba Gurger's eternal flames, lit since 1927. A unique touch. That Ottoman bridge, with its precise arches, stands as a rare intact relic of empire engineering. If you're landing soon, it'd make for a thoughtful detour into northern Iraq's resilient mosaic. Looks like we're in one of those quiet spots, which makes it the perfect time for Jolly Senior to keep us company. Take it away, Dad.
Okay, got it. Hello there, Jolly Senior here, keeping things going. There's something oddly satisfying about a part of the journey that doesn't ask anything of you. No big decisions, no need to check directions, just steady movement, letting time do its thing. You won't see this place in a travel guide, and no one's writing a bucket list around it. But that's what makes it great. Some moments aren't about where you are, but about the simple fact that you're going somewhere. And let's be honest, those moments can be just as important as the exciting ones. I always think about how much effort went into making travel this effortless. Centuries ago, moving from one place to another took careful planning, patience, and usually a few broken wagon wheels. Now, you just keep going, and before you know it, you're somewhere new. So while this spot may not come with a history lesson or a famous name, it's still playing its part. No delays, no detours, just forward motion, exactly the way it was meant to be. All right, I've done my bit. Time to hand things back to Junior for the next update.
Thank you, Dad. You're looking at a quiet corner of northeastern Iraq in Hamran Subdistrict, part of Konakeen District in Diyala Governorate, a region shaped by water, low mountains, and old trade routes. The name, Hamran, is shared with the Hamran Mountains, a chain of modest ridges that form a sort of natural threshold between Iraq's central plains and the higher Zagros to the east. They're not very high by alpine standards, roughly a few hundred meters, but historically they were a frontier. In ancient times, this zone helped separate Babylonian lands to the south from Assyrian influence to the north. Just to the southwest stretches Lake Hamran, created by the Hamran Dam on one of the Diyala Basin rivers. It has become a crucial water reservoir for the governorate, storing billions of cubic meters and providing much of Diyala's drinking and irrigation water. In wet years, when floods recharge it, the shoreline greens up, fishermen return in greater numbers, and you'll see migratory birds using it as a seasonal stopover. Diyala more broadly is known across Iraq for agriculture, especially date palms, olives, and citrus. It's sometimes called the orange capital of the Middle East. Around Hamran you move from orchards and river-fed fields into more steppe-like land near the hills, where small villages tend flocks and dryland crops. The climate here is the classic Iraqi rhythm: hot, very dry summers, with temperatures often above 40 degrees Celsius, and cool, wetter winters, when the rains and occasional storms feeding Hamran's dam arrive from the west. One bit of local character: the Hamran area sits along routes that once linked Baghdad to Iran and the Kurdish northeast, so even small roadside towns nearby can surprise you with mixed accents, shared dishes, and that very Iraqi habit of insisting you sit for tea, even if you swore it would just be a quick stop. Look out the window. Somewhere down there near the Iran border in Diyala province is Awad al-Atruz, a quiet village tucked into the Balad Ruz district. Balad Ruz itself, just a short hop away, steals the show with its ancient roots as Baraz al-Ruz, or the rice field, thanks to the life-giving Ruz Canal that once stretched over 30 miles south before petering out near town. Picture this: Abbasid Caliph al-Mu'tadid slapping down a palace here back in the 9th century, and by 1340, it was coughing up 20,000 dinars a year to Baghdad's treasury, serious cash for a rice hub. Fast forward, and Lieutenant General Ali Gaydon Majid, commander of Iraq's ground forces, hails from these parts, a point of local pride. The economy still leans on farming those fertile canal fringes, edging the eastern desert where the land turns stark and golden. Summers scorch over 110 degrees Fahrenheit with dust devils dancing, but winters dip mild around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect for rice paddies greening up. Tune into Al Noor radio station, launched in 2006, the light, broadcasting local vibes since. One quirky bit. The canal's ghostly end hints at old irrigation wizardry that fed empires, now mostly a memory amid modern pumps. If you detour, Bakwaba's markets are 75 miles west for a taste of masgoof fish grilled over river reeds. Not too far for a day trip. Small town Iraq at its resilient best. Nothing popping up on my end, which means it's the perfect time for Jolly Senior to step in and keep us company. Over to you, Dad.
All right, my turn. Hi there, Jolly Senior here. Always good to have company. Now this is one of those stretches of the world that just lets you pass through. No distractions, no detours, just steady movement from one place to the next. If there were a hall of fame for locations that keep travel running smoothly, this one would definitely make the list. Not every part of a journey comes with a big introduction. Some places exist purely to connect everything else together, whether it's miles of open water, endless sky, or a quiet stretch of land with no signs in sight. These are the unsung heroes of travel, the spaces that don't make the headlines but make everything possible. I always think about the first travelers who crossed vast distances by sea, land, or air, navigating through places just like this, trusting that as long as they kept moving, they'd reach exactly where they needed to go. No road signs, no mile markers, just the steady rhythm of progress. That's exactly what's happening here. So here's to the places that don't ask for attention, but keep the world moving. Nothing to do now but sit back, take it in, and let the journey keep unfolding. All right, that's it from me for now. Junior, take it from here.
Thanks, Dad. On a clear, cool night like this, about 15 degrees Celsius with calm, dry air, Kut down there by the Tigris feels very much like a river town catching its breath after a long, hot day. Kut is the capital of Wasid Governorate, about 160 to 175 kilometers southeast of Baghdad, formed by a great loop in the Tigris River that almost encircles the city. That bend has shaped everything here: the farms, the traffic, even the battles of the last century. During the First World War, this was the scene of the Siege of Kut, one of the more notorious campaigns in the Mesopotamian theater, and older residents still pass down family stories from that time. What really defines Kut today is water and agriculture. The Kut Barrage and Dam, built in the 1930s, regulate the Tigris and feed the Garif Canal system, irrigating huge fields of cereals, vegetables, and date palms around the city. From above by day, it's a patchwork of green carved out of otherwise dry country. Economically, Kut has long been known as a trading and carpet center, a stop on routes linking Baghdad with the Iranian border and the old marshlands to the south. The markets still reflect that mix: local produce, river fish, woven goods, and goods moving in transit east-west. The climate is classic continental desert: scorching, dry summers that easily push past 40 degrees Celsius, and surprisingly cool, pleasant winters where evenings like this are ideal for tea by the river. Spring and autumn are the sweet seasons, when the orchards and riverside gardens feel almost lush. A quietly intriguing detail: just outside Kut sits the site of Iraq's former nuclear research facility, now an abandoned relic of a very different era in the country's ambitions. It's not something you tour, but its presence is part of the local story people nod to with a mix of irony and nostalgia. Looks like we're passing through one of those nameless stretches, but that just means it's a great moment for Jolly Sr. to share some wisdom. Take it away, Dad.
I'm on it, son. Hello, name's Jolly Sr. Happy to be here with you. Picture this. A dramatic narrator's voice kicks in. The screen fades to black. And suddenly you're watching a nature documentary about this very moment. Here, in the vast and often overlooked stretches of travel, we find a rare and fascinating sight. The traveler in their natural habitat. No landmarks to distract them. No urgent decisions to make. Just pure, unfiltered movement. Cut to a slow-motion shot of you staring out the window, looking contemplative. Maybe even heroic. The background music swells. The narrator continues. Though seemingly uneventful, these moments are crucial. Scientists believe that without these quiet stretches, journeys would be far less enjoyable. All right, maybe that documentary won't be winning any awards, but you have to admit, there's something strangely satisfying about a moment like this. No schedule to keep, no distractions, just the simple rhythm of steady movement. And if you really want to embrace it, go ahead, pretend you're in a documentary. Just try to look philosophical for the imaginary camera. All right, that's it from me for now. Junior, take it from here.
Thanks, Dad. As we glide through the night sky near Mason Province, imagine the clear, starry view below. 15 degrees Celsius with a gentle 7 miles per hour breeze and 54% humidity. Perfect for a crisp evening in southern Iraq. Down there lies Kiryat al-Adha, a quiet village hugging the edge of Al-Maimuna district in Mason, right by the vast Hawar al-Uwda, the district's largest marsh at around 40,000 dunams of shimmering wetlands. These Awar, ancient, life-sustaining lakes fed by Tigris branches like the Batira and Arid rivers, define the place, where locals from the dominant Al-Azraq tribe and others like Al-Sarai or Bani Lam have fished and farmed for generations. Founded in the 1950s from older marsh settlements like Ain al-Utayja, Al-Maimuna itself carries a charming origin tale. Named after Al-Mumina, a faithful woman who ran a vital water pump, her spot becoming the traveler's rest amid reed boats dodging bandits. Life revolves around rice, barley, wheat, and buffalo herding, though past drainage policies scattered families to cities like Amara, 30 miles north. The village's reed-thatched homes blend into this watery world, a nod to marsh Arab traditions. Pop around 150,000 in the district. Folks gather at spots like nearby Berkat markets or along the Tigris, 45 kilometers away, for fresh fish mazgoof, grilled simply over open fires. Winters stay mild like tonight, dipping to 10 degrees Celsius, while scorching summers top 45 degrees Celsius demand those marsh breezes. A quirky note: old-timers recall childhoods pulling mashuffs through fog-shrouded howars, netting carp by moonlight. Swing by for the raw beauty, it's Iraq's hidden wetland heartbeat, resilient and rhythmic. Look out the window. Somewhere down there in Basra Governorate lies Al-Midina, the bustling heart district of Basra itself, seat of a place that's been pulsing with life for centuries. We're flying near the cradle of southern Iraq, where the Shatt al-Arab waterway, formed by the Tigris and Euphrates merging, carves through like a living artery, earning Basra its old nickname, Venice of the East, thanks to those winding canals and creeks. This area's economy thrives on its massive port at Al-Makal, a trade powerhouse since 1916, shipping out dates from endless palm groves and handling Middle East commerce. Stroll the Corniche for sunset views, or hop a boat ride, pure magic. History buffs, head to the Basra Museum in its old palace, packed with Sumerian, Babylonian, and Islamic relics that whisper tales from Mesopotamia. Lately, old Basra's Ottoman-era Shanashil houses, those charming wooden lattice balconies overhanging narrow streets, are buzzing with tourists. UNESCO and EU-backed renovations turned a handful into heritage centers displaying manuscripts and art, saving them from collapse and drawing crowds to what locals call the city's soul. Imagine sipping tea in one, peering at intricate woodwork that cooled rooms naturally in the scorching summers. Weather's brutal. Sweltering heat over 110 degrees Fahrenheit in summer, mild winters around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, with humidity that sticks like date syrup. Nearby, the Italian bridge spans the river in elegant arches, and lively squares like Al Tyran host everyday drama. Quirky fact: some whisper of a haunted basement in Basra, laced with local folklore for thrill seekers. Al Midina's right in the mix, urban grit meets timeless allure. Safe travels ahead. Look out the window. Somewhere down there near the Shat al-Arab waterway, Basra unfolds like a page from history. Founded in 638 as a military camp by Caliph Umar, it quickly bloomed into Iraq's first great port city, where Tigris and Euphrates meet the Persian Gulf. Armies launched from here to conquer Iran in the 640s, and it hosted the dramatic Battle of the Camel in 656 between Aisha and Ali. By the 8th century, Basra was an intellectual powerhouse, home to poets, grammarians, and the mystic Al-Hasan al-Basri, who sparked Islamic mysticism. Sinbad the Sailor legendarily set off from its docks in those Arabian Nights tales, and Ibn Battuta praised its canals, dubbing it the Venice of the East. Today, it's Iraq's oil and export hub, shipping dates and petroleum from southern fields. Think bustling terminals handling Gulf trade. The climate's brutal. Scorching summers over 120 degrees Fahrenheit with humidity that clings like a wet towel. Milder winters around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but low-lying marshes make everything feel swampy year-round. Don't miss the Corniche along the Shat al-Arab for waterfront vibes, or a detour to nearby Zubair, site of the original camp. Fun fact: The first architecturally grand mosque in Islam rose here in 665. A resilient spot, blending ancient grit with modern pulse. Look out the window toward the shimmering Persian Gulf down there. We're gliding near the Al Fau Peninsula, that skinny 30-mile finger of marshy land poking into the water at Iraq's southern edge. This place has been a prize fought over for centuries, called the Key to Iraq by Ottoman governors for guarding the Shatt al-Arab waterway, vital for shipping oil and goods to Basra's markets. Strategically, it's infamous from brutal wars. Iran seized it in 1986 during their 8-year clash with Iraq, only for Iraqi forces to claw it back in 1988 amid one of the bloodiest battles, leaving the town in ruins, rebuilt from scratch in months. Then in 2003, British Royal Marines and US SEALs made the first amphibious landing of that war here, securing oil platforms in under 24 hours to stop Saddam from torching them like he did in '91. No ecological disaster that time. Today, fishing sustains the locals alongside massive oil terminals, and the Al Fau Grand Port project promises to supercharge trade as one of Iraq's biggest developments. Weather's classic Gulf. Scorching summers topping 110 degrees Fahrenheit, mild winters around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, with humid winds whipping off the marshes year-round. Trivia nugget. Under Saddam, recapturing Al Fau was a national holiday. Talk about a victory lap. Nearby, Qasr's deep water port buzzes with aid and cargo, just a short hop north. It's a resilient spot, where history's scars meet hopes for a trade boom. Fascinating, isn't it? About 70 kilometers, or roughly 44 miles, to the west-southwest is Kuwait City, stretched along the Arabian Gulf with a mix of glittering towers, sea air, and traces of its old trading port Seoul. You really feel that meeting point of tradition and modern ambition there. Sleek highways along the waterfront, and then, tucked not far away, narrow lanes and older markets that hint at the days when everything revolved around pearl diving and maritime trade. The skyline's most famous silhouette is the Kuwait Towers, those slender blue-tiled spheres rising over the Gulf, a national symbol of modern Kuwait and its post-oil development. Not far off, the Grand Mosque anchors the city spiritually and architecturally, the largest mosque in the country, with intricate interiors that showcase classical Islamic design. For anyone curious about how this small desert state became a modern country, the Kuwait National Museum pulls together archaeology, traditional life, and the story of independence in one place. Kuwait City also has a softer side in its public spaces. Al Shahid Park, right in the urban core, blends landscaped gardens, museums, and memorials that walk you through key moments in Kuwait's history while giving residents a genuinely green refuge from the heat. Then there's the city's taste for contemporary architecture. The twisting Al Hamra Tower, one of the tallest buildings in Kuwait, stands in the busy Sharq district as a symbol of the city's financial and commercial energy. What stays with many travelers is that contrast. The reflective calm of mosque courtyards and seaside promenades, the chatter of traditional souks, and above it all these bold modern landmarks, all packed into a compact capital facing the Gulf. Well, this is a quiet stretch, no landmarks or names to share. But don't worry, Jolly Senior's got just the thing for times like these. Go ahead, Dad.
All right, I got it. Hi there, Jolly Senior here. Glad to keep you company. You know, some people spend their whole lives trying to visit places that are hard to get to. Remote islands, hidden landscapes, places so untouched they feel almost secret. Well, congratulations. You're passing through one of the most exclusive places on Earth. So exclusive, even most maps don't have much to say about it. Not every location needs tourist brochures or guided tours to be important. Some places simply do their job, keeping the world connected without asking for attention. Whether it's miles of open water, endless sky, or vast stretches of land, these are the spaces that make travel possible. It reminds me of the early explorers sailing, flying, or trekking across places they didn't fully understand yet, but knowing that every part of the journey mattered. Even the quietest places have played a role in history, whether or not their names are famous. And just like that, you're already moving past it. There will be more stretches like this ahead, each one doing its part just like this one did. For now, sit back and enjoy the ride, because every part of the journey counts. Some parts of a trip are about arrival, some are about discovery. And then there are moments like this, the quiet stretches, the ones that don't demand your attention but still shape the experience. Someone once said, travel isn't just about reaching a place, but about everything that happens along the way. And there's truth to that. Every part of a journey plays its role. Some moments are full of excitement, while others, like this one, simply keep things moving as they should. These in-between stretches, the ones without fanfare, are often where the best thinking happens. Maybe it's because for once there's nothing to do but just be. No schedules to check, no decisions to make. Just steady movement, the world passing by, and a rare chance to let your mind wander. Funny how in a world that moves so fast, moments like this feel like a hidden luxury. No rush, no expectations, just smooth, uninterrupted motion, exactly as it's meant to be. Well, this is interesting. We're passing through a place without a name on hand. Not lost, not off course, just moving through one of those stretches that doesn't ask for attention. Think of this as a little breather in the journey. No landmarks fighting for your time, no major moments to process, just a quiet pause before the next thing. Every trip has them. The in-between moments where nothing much happens, but somehow they still feel like part of the experience. It reminds me of something a writer once said. Sometimes it's not the road that changes you, but the time spent traveling it. Maybe that's why these quiet stretches are worth noticing. No rush, no distractions, just time moving forward, exactly as it should. So, take this moment for what it is. A rare chance to sit back, do nothing, and just let the journey unfold. No interruptions, no decisions to make, just a little break, built right into the trip. Now, this is a part of the journey that makes everything feel easy. No landmarks competing for attention, no choices to make. Just steady, uninterrupted movement. Some places exist to be admired, and others, like this one, exist to keep everything flowing without a second thought. It's the kind of place that doesn't need recognition, yet plays a quiet, essential role in making sure every journey feels seamless. I once heard someone say, "Travel isn't always about where you're going, it's about how you get there." And right now, you're in one of those effortless stretches where everything is working just as it should. No distractions, no decisions, just smooth, steady progress. So, take this moment for what it is, a chance to sit back, relax, and let the journey take care of itself. We're passing through one of those spaces that doesn't ask for attention. It simply keeps everything in motion. Whether we're over the ocean, open landscapes, or high above the world, these stretches are what make travel feel effortless. Think about people like Charles Lindbergh crossing the Atlantic in a single flight, or the first railroads carving paths across continents. All of them relied on these quiet, steady stretches that don't make headlines but make everything possible. Not every part of a trip is about where you're going. Sometimes it's just about the experience of being in motion. The hum of the engine, the rhythm of the road, the feeling of time passing just right. So, wherever you're headed, this moment is part of the journey, smooth, steady, and exactly as it should be. Just sit back, take it in, and enjoy the ride. All right, that's all from me for now. Junior, it's back to you.
Thank you, Dad. Off to our southwest, about 97 kilometers or 61 miles away, lies Manama, the lively capital of Bahrain, where ancient history rubs shoulders with modern flair, and those inviting beaches and island resorts are just a short hop from the city center. Picture wandering into the heart of Manama Souk, a bustling maze of narrow alleys alive with the scents of spices, stacks of colorful textiles, and glittering gold shops. It's the soul of the city, where traders have haggled for centuries, and Bab al-Bahrain stands as the Grand Gateway, built in 1949 on the old Dow docking spot to welcome visitors into this timeless market. Just nearby, the Al-Fateh Grand Mosque rises like a beacon, one of the world's largest, sprawling over 6,500 square meters with room for over 7,000 worshippers. Its massive golden dome and intricate arches capture Bahrain's deep Islamic heritage, glowing especially at dusk. For a dive into the past, head to Bahrain Fort, or Qa'at al-Bahrain, a UNESCO World Heritage Site perched on ancient Dilmun civilization ruins dating back over 5,000 years. Excavations here reveal layers of Persian Gulf history, from burial mounds to Portuguese fortifications, all overlooking the sea. The Bahrain National Museum nearby brings it all to life with artifacts from that Dilmun era, sleek modern displays, and tales of pearling divers who once shaped the island's fortunes. Manama's skyline steals the show too, with the iconic Bahrain World Trade Center. Those sail-shaped twin towers soaring 240 meters, harnessing wind through turbines between them, a nod to innovative architecture right by luxury waterfront spots. And don't miss the nearby beaches and resorts on islands like Amwaj, where calm waters meet desert sands, perfect for unwinding after exploring the city's blend of souk energy, mosque serenity, and fort mysteries. It's a compact gem that feels worlds away yet so accessible. Nothing popping up on my end, which means it's the perfect time for Jolly Senior to step in and keep us company. Over to you, Dad.
All right, my turn. Hi there, Jolly Senior here. Always good to have company. You ever notice how some places love to take credit? Big cities, famous landmarks, even tiny roadside diners with world's best coffee signs. But then there are places like this, the quiet, hard-working parts of the world that don't need a spotlight to do their job. This is the kind of place that keeps everything moving without asking for attention. It doesn't make postcards, but without it, the journey wouldn't work. And let's be honest, Sometimes these stretches are the best part. No schedules to check, no decisions to make, just a moment to sit back and let things happen exactly as they should. I always think about how travel has evolved, how people once spent weeks, even months, crossing distances that now take hours. And yet, no matter how much changes, every trip still has stretches like this. The quiet in-between moments, the ones that make the whole journey possible. So, here's to the unsung heroes of travel, the places that don't try to impress you, but still get the job done. No need to rush, no need to overthink, just keep moving and everything else will fall into place. Looks like we're passing through a place without a name on hand. No big introductions, no famous landmarks, just a stretch of the journey quietly doing its job. Some places are known for their history, others for their sights. And then there are places like this, the ones that don't ask for attention but still play a role in keeping everything connected. The unsung spaces that make travel possible, even if no one stops to admire them. There's an old saying, everywhere is somewhere to someone. Just because we don't have a name for this spot doesn't mean it's not important. Every journey has stretches like this, the moments in between that keep the whole thing running smoothly. So whether we know what to call it or not, this place is doing exactly what it was meant to do, letting us move forward uninterrupted. No distractions, no detours, just another piece of the journey unfolding as it should. Some places in the world are famous, others are hidden gems. And then there are places like this, the ones that don't mind being overlooked. No guidebooks, no social media check-ins, just a quiet stretch doing exactly what it was meant to do. Keep the world moving. It's funny how we're always looking for something new to see. But sometimes the most reliable parts of a journey are the ones that don't ask to be noticed. They're like the background crew in a big production, never in the spotlight, but without them, nothing would run smoothly. There's an old saying, sometimes the best things in life aren't meant to be found. They're meant to be passed through. Maybe that's exactly what's happening right now. So don't worry about remembering this place. It's happy to do its job quietly while you just keep moving forward. Every great journey has its highlights, those exciting moments, big arrivals, and memorable stops. But what people rarely talk about is the secret ingredient that holds it all together, the in-between. Think about it. Without these stretches, nothing would connect. No smooth transitions, no steady movement, no time to take a breath before the next big thing. It's like making a great meal. Sure, the spices and sauces get all the attention, but it's the base ingredients that actually make the dish work. Travel has always had moments like this. Centuries ago, traders, explorers, and early travelers spent long stretches, sometimes weeks, sometimes even longer, crossing vast distances, knowing that every part of the journey mattered. They didn't rush it, they just kept moving, letting the trip unfold at its own pace. So, while this part of the trip may not come with fanfare, it's doing something important. It's giving you time to simply be in motion without needing to think about what's next. And if you ask me, that's an underrated luxury. All right, that's all from me for now. Junior, it's back to you.
Thank you, Dad. Off Tower Southeast, about 101 kilometers or 63 miles away, lies the Palm Jumeirah, Dubai's stunning artificial archipelago shaped like a massive palm tree stretching into the Persian Gulf. This engineering marvel, conceived in the late 1990s by Dubai's visionary leaders, began taking form in 2001 when Dutch dredgers pumped up 94 million cubic meters of sand from the seabed. Sand that wouldn't liquefy in water, unlike the desert variety, and armored it with 7 million tons of rock from the Hajar Mountains. The result? A 5.6 square kilometer wonder with a trunk of apartments, 17 leafy fronds lined with villas, and a protective crescent breakwater spanning 11 kilometers, all visible even from space. It's home to over 25,000 residents, luxury resorts like Atlantis with its vast aquarium, pristine beaches, and upcoming infinity pools that redefine opulence. Yet it's not without environmental trade-offs, like nearby shoreline erosion and warmer waters, reminders of humanity's bold push against nature. Practically sharing that same southeastern spot, just 102 kilometers or 63 miles out, stands the Burj Al Arab, Dubai's sail-shaped icon of extravagance piercing the skyline. Often called the world's only seven-star hotel, this landmark rose from the sea on its own artificial island in the late 1990s, a feat of Arabian Gulf engineering blending Islamic arches with soaring golden hues. From afar, its silhouette evokes a Dow sail, symbolizing Dubai's maritime heritage amid its modern boom fueled by petroleum wealth. Inside, it whispers of sheer luxury. Think helipad landings, underwater restaurant views, and suites draped in gold leaf. But it's the exterior drama that captivates, especially at dusk when lights dance on the waves. Together with Palm Jumeirah, these spots showcase Dubai's transformation from desert trading post to global playground, where reclaimed land meets timeless ambition. Just 61 kilometers or about 38 miles southeast, you'll spot the Gold Souk, that legendary marketplace tucked along Dubai Creek in Deira. Picture narrow, winding lanes lined with over 380 jewelry shops, their ornate facades and high vaulted ceilings glowing under natural light, blending Middle Eastern architectural gems like intricate tilework and cultural motifs with the sparkle of gold treasures inside. Born in the early 1900s from humble trading posts on ancient sea routes, it boomed in the 1940s thanks to Dubai's savvy free trade policies, drawing merchants from India, Iran, and beyond to craft and barter everything from heavy bangles to delicate gemstone pieces. It's not just commerce, it's a living echo of Dubai's trading soul, where the world's largest gold ring once gleamed at 64 kilograms, and renovations now polish its timeless allure for wanderers like us. A touch farther at 64 kilometers or about 40 miles southeast lies Dubai itself, the dazzling emirate hugging the Persian Gulf. This modern powerhouse mesmerizes with its forest of record-breaking skyscrapers piercing the desert sky, from the iconic sail-shaped silhouette to towers that redefine luxury living. Yet beneath the glitz pulses a vibrant history tied to its busy Jebel Ali port, one of the world's largest, fueling global trade since oil discoveries and creek dredging turbocharged its growth in the 1960s. Dubai's essence shines in its fusion of opulent shopping havens stocked with high-end fashions and perfumes alongside cultural nods to its Bedouin roots, all framed by golden sands and turquoise waters. The Gold Souk sits right in its historic heart, a reminder that this metropolis evolved from creekside traders into a beacon of innovation and excess, where tradition meets tomorrow in every gleaming vista. Look out the window. Somewhere down there near the shimmering Arabian Gulf sits Dubai, the UAE's unstoppable dynamo that's ballooned from a sleepy pearl diving village of 20,000 souls in 1950 to over 3 million today, with expats making up the vast majority. It's a city engineered for the future. Trade, tourism, aviation, and finance fuel its economy, with Dubai International Airport handling over 90 million passengers last year as the world's busiest for internationals. Growth hit 3.3% this year and should accelerate to around 4% in 2025, thanks to non-oil sectors like transport surging ahead and massive infrastructure budgets. What grabs you first are the icons: the sail-shaped Burj Al Arab, the colossal Dubai Mall, and the Burj Khalifa, piercing 828 meters into the sky with its sleek, twisted architecture that defies desert winds. The economy thrives on real estate booms and shopping sprees, but don't miss the creekside souks for spices and gold, or dune bashing in the nearby deserts. Weather's reliably sunny. Scorching summers over 40 degrees Celsius, milder winters around 25 degrees Celsius, perfect for beach hops to Jumeirah or a quick jaunt to Abu Dhabi. Trivia to chew on. It's got one of the world's highest male-to-female ratios at about 3:1, mostly from Asian workers building the dream. And here's a quirky law. Public displays of affection can land you in hot water, so keep it classy amid the glitz. Whether you're eyeing luxury or adventure, Dubai's that rare spot where ancient trading routes meet sci-fi ambition. Safe travels ahead. Sharjah is the Emirate people often, accidentally, sleep in when they work in Dubai, but it has a completely different personality, quieter, more traditional, and very proud of its role as the cultural heart of the country. Historically, this was one of the wealthiest ports on the Gulf, trading pearls and goods long before oil reshaped the region. It has been ruled by the Al-Qasimi family since the 18th century, and their stamp is everywhere, from politics to the distinctive public architecture inspired by early Islamic styles. Travelers are usually struck by how livable it feels. Long waterfronts like Buhaira Corniche, neat parks, and family-focused neighborhoods rather than forests of skyscrapers. Sharjah was named the cultural capital of the Arab world by UNESCO and later capital of Islamic culture, and it takes that seriously. You get an impressive cluster of museums: the Museum of Islamic Civilization, the Heritage Museum, and Al Mahada Aviation Museum in a converted 1930s airfield. The old heritage area near the Corniche is where you feel the older Gulf: restored coral stone houses, traditional wind towers, and souks like Souk Al Arsa and the striking blue souk with its blue tilework and more than 600 shops. Food-wise, it's a great place to try Emirati and wider Arab dishes without the heavy international gloss. Grills, mez, fish from the Gulf, and affordable South Asian places serving the workers who keep the city running. Climate-wise, expect classic Gulf weather: mild, pleasant winters and very hot, humid summers when evenings on the lagoon are quick escapes to the cooler Al Hajar mountainside, and Sharjah's east coast enclaves like Khor Fakkan are the reward. A fun quirk: most government buildings were personally designed or overseen by the current ruler, who trained as an architect, which explains why the city's mosques, courts, and cultural centers share such a consistent, almost storybook Islamic style. Look out your window. Somewhere down there near Sharjah's eastern edge sits Al Bataya, a quiet town of about 4,000 that's punching way above its weight as the Northern Emirates' agricultural heartbeat. This spot thrives as a crossroads hub, straddling highways like the E88 toward Fujairah's mountains and Emirates Road, making it a buzzing commercial stop for savvy drivers from Dubai. About 45 minutes away. At its core is the legendary Friday Market, or Souk al-Jum'ah, open daily but peaking Thursday to Saturday with stalls bursting in plants, date palms, livestock like goats and sheep, pottery, and fresh off-the-farm veggies from roadside stalls. It's raw, sensory chaos, earth scents mixing with spices, where locals haggle over cornfields harvest or alfalfa bales from those vast greenhouses dotting the red soil countryside. Farming here echoes ancient roots, date groves alongside modern setups, contrasting the UAE's desert rep, especially lush from October to April when temps dip to comfy strolling weather. New villa communities like Hayyan by Aleph Group add polish, with lagoons and trails, drawing families close to Sharjah Airport in 10 minutes. Surprise! It's home to Al Batea Club, the pro football team that rocketed from Youth Academy in 2013 to UAE Pro League in just 3 seasons, now battling giants like Al Sharjah. Nearby, Sharjah Desert Park's zoo and botanical gardens lure a quick detour west. Grab some fresh strawberries from a farm stall, pure, unpretentious bliss. This town's the real UAE, minus the flash. On a night like this in Dubai, with clear skies and warm air in the mid-20s, the city feels a bit like a mirage that decided to stay. Dubai started as a small creek-side settlement of pearl divers and traders in the early 19th century, when about 800 members of the Bani Yas tribe settled along what's now Dubai Creek. That creek was the original lifeline, a natural harbor that made Dubai a busy port for fishing, pearling, and trade long before oil was discovered. What makes Dubai fascinating is how deliberately it reinvented itself. Oil was found in the 1960s, but leaders quickly pushed beyond it, turning the Emirate into a global hub for trade, aviation, tourism, and finance, with free zones like Jebel Ali attracting thousands of international companies. Today, only a small slice of its GDP comes from oil. The skyline and the airport say much more about what pays the bills. Visitors tend to know the icons: Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest skyscraper, and the sail-shaped Burj Al Arab, famous for over-the-top luxury. But older Dubai is still there in Deira and Bur Dubai. Traditional wind tower houses in Al Fahidi, wooden abras shuttling across the creek, and souks stacked with gold, spices, and textiles. Food here mirrors the population. Emirati dishes like makbous and luqaimat sit alongside South Asian, Levantine, and Iranian cuisines, reflecting a city where expatriates make up the vast majority of residents. A fun bit of Dubai trivia: the police fleet includes supercars like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, partly for PR and partly to keep pace on those immaculate highways. And in the desert outside the city, camel racing now uses tiny robot jockeys instead of children, a very modern solution to a very old sport. By day it can be blisteringly hot for much of the year, but nights like this, warm, dry, and quietly glowing, are when Dubai feels most like a movie set that never quite turns the cameras off.